Downtown, I got that heat, let's go. Downtown, I got that heat, let's go.
Yeah. Happy Friday, folks. What is up, good people? We got the June 23rd edition, 2023. SMT Podcast is live. Glad to have you guys here for the live show. For those of you watching this on replay, hashtag replay crew. For everybody that's here in the live, hashtag 2live crew. Let's say some hellos to the peoples out there in the SMT nation. Get this music down a little bit. There we go. All right. In the comments section, we have the Mod Squad. MS, what up? Also a member. What up? Why? Jeremy's here. What's up, Jeremy? Blind G Tech is in the house. South Joe is here. David in the house. Joe Landy. Joel E. Hey, Joel, you said good morning. You got to be across the pond, man. What up, John? Long time no see, man. Glad to see you and have you here tonight. Baby Yoder. Big asset to the channel. Appreciate you. All that you do, man. Thank you. Archie Mobile in the house. Clever. Delightful evening indeed. We got our first hashtag of the night, EM Tech. Hit us with the hashtag 90 bucks. I'll hit you with the hashtag more chicken. Newest member, Dave. Thank you, man, and welcome to the membership. Hope you enjoy all the extra content, all the early access, all the exclusive stuff, and appreciate you supporting us. All right, so I was asking in the chat, who is your carrier of choice? Said hashtag Verizon. This one from Giancarlo, and he said because they have good reception in the area. So, Mike, hashtag T-Mobile, you can use any phone, MS says. Not just some expensive model that is whitelisted. They use every drop of spectrum that they can use. They take non-contiguous FT pieces of spectrum and make it work. Joe hit me with the hashtag AT&T. Their service here has started to improve drastically here since they are starting to roll out mid-band 5G. Verizon has been taking a nosedive for me, so I switched. So far, I've been happy. Smart move. I'm doing well, Mr. Visually Impaired Tech. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Welcome to the show. Hashtag Verizon services improved. Better reception in the city. We got that one. RF Waves, what up, man? There's that hashtag 2Live crew. Hey, Trex. Yeah, I know. EM is a rock star, isn't he? Phenomenal. John says, I'm going with T-Mobile for the price. And then Clever says, hashtag T-Mobile. They brought back unlimited. I do appreciate that part. I think everybody does, honestly, man. I know me, even as a Verizon customer, I remember when they, Verizon came back with the 2017 new Verizon Unlimited. I was like, man, thank you, T-Mobile. Big salute to John Leisure. I like AT&T because of FirstNet. I have to agree, man. FirstNet is a game changer. Really is. All right, newest member Dave chimes in. Hashtag T-Mobile, because on the T-Mobile prepaid Unlimited Plus, they have unlimited hotspot. After 10 gig, goes to 3G, but it works very well even with that in my area. All right. Good stuff. All right, let's kill the music for now. All right, folks. Let me hit you with our first story here tonight. And I'm going to do a little bit of a screen share for you. Okay, I think this is it right here. All right, folks. Pivotal Commware. You guys may have heard of this company. This is the company that I believe Verizon has ownership stake in. I think also they've worked very closely with Pivotal specifically on mmWave repeater tech. And, we're pretty excited about that. The company itself has expanded fixed wireless access coverage in LA. All right, so let's see what this is about. More markets to the Pivotal turnkey roster, announcing 5G mmWave coverage for a Tier 1 mobile network operator in LA. And by Tier 1, folks, they're talking about Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile. And when it comes to mmWave, the answer is Verizon. Why they didn't want to name Verizon, I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the FTC. I don't know. All right, so it's definitely Verizon Ventures. Pivotal also announced Atlanta and Indianapolis joining in on this expansion of fixed wireless access mmWave. They have made appearances in Houston as well. And they've done upgrades to the software to allow the turnkey to model more multi-dwelling units for fixed wireless access, better and faster using fewer resources. So maybe, more efficient, that sort of thing. Make the screen a little bit bigger. Okay, so how does Pivotal Turnkey work? End-to-end solution for planning and deploying services on existing mobile networks, explained Melroy Machado, operations director for the company. What they're going to do in LA is Pivotal Commware is going to set up FWA or fixed wireless access subscribers using the Tier 1 mobile operator's existing mmWave network infrastructure. Okay, so that's Verizon. He went on to say our engine effectively delivers customers back to the carrier through our products and partnerships, providing a faster and more cost-effective solution. We don't rely on fiber. Instead, we extend signals over the air using pivot network repeaters. This leads to quicker deployments and reduced costs. My only concern for this, right, is going to be the actual performance of the network access. Like, what's the latency going to be? Anytime you add steps within a network, right, you increase latency, and you want the latency to be as low as possible. You want the network to be responsive. Is it going to add jitter to the connection? Is it going to impact the stability of the connection? We've seen RF signals get ruined and destroyed by repeaters due to interference. So there's a lot of factors there. I'm guessing they got it all figured out, but it becomes a thing. Let's see here. It says citing confidentiality requirements with the operator, Pivotal Commware declined to disclose the specific number of repeaters that it deployed in the LA area. Anybody in the LA area, if you would be so kind to go hunting for these repeaters, I would love to see them. Thank you in advance. Email me, sneedmobiletech@gmail.com. It says here, Turnkey is designed to perform at any spectrum, including C-band. In LA, it's deploying Pivotal Turnkey at N261, and that would be 28 gigahertz frequency. That's a very, very high frequency millimeter wave. Partnerships across the U.S. For network planning, permitting, deployment on behalf of the mobile operator, blah, blah, blah. This sounds cool. And people in LA are probably sitting pretty. I'm sure they've got other cable options, and they probably have other fiber options as well. Good stuff, though. All right. Let's go to this next story then. Hey, what happened to my share screen? Let's get back there. Okay. All right. This one is from Light Reading, Jeff Baumgartner. FCC wants all-in price for cable and satellite video services. What is this about? All right. The FCC has followed up its broadband nutritional label initiative. New proposed rulemaking that seeks the all-in price for pay TV services delivered by cable operators and satellite TV providers. All right, so we followed that story really closely. I think the nice thing about this stuff is that you get a label that gives you the price of the service, the speeds of the service, downlink, uplink, expected latency, any types of taxes and fees that are associated, surcharges, rental and equipment costs. It's just a nice, transparent way for customers to know exactly what they're getting from the provider and then how much it's going to cost. And then you get that really nice itemized breakdown. Okay, so we got that. The FCC has been working on that. Now they're looking for very clear all-in prices for services, including broadcast TV fees, regional sports programming surcharges, all designed to help the consumer. Okay, so you guys know about the fine print on all of these different ISPs, right? The fine print is hard to read. The fine print is always hidden. The FCC just wants to make it clear, large, explained, detailed, and then people can make their decisions and know exactly what they're getting charged for. Big Cable probably doesn't want this, but, they're going to have to. Violating the FCC could lead to penalties and fines and whatever else, right? The new video price-focused notice of proposed rulemaking seeks comment on requiring cable and satellite operators to provide enhanced pricing transparency. I like this. Give you control of your bill. Know exactly what you're getting charged for. Cable operators and DBS providers would aggregate the costs of the video programming service, including various fees, as a prominent single line item on subscribers' bills and in promotional materials if they choose to advertise a price in those promotional materials. The FCC's all-in proposal enters the picture as US pay TV is in a steep decline. A record 2.31 million subs lost in the first quarter of 2023. Damn. All right. So I'm really a supporter of this, folks. This would be huge because this allows people to know exactly what they're paying for. It gives them an itemized breakdown of each specific thing that a provider charges. It may be like, oh, well, I didn't know that I was getting charged for this. I didn't know I was going through this. Maybe I need to disconnect. Might help people save money. And at the very least, helps you understand what you're paying for at the very least. All right, guys, time to address the elephant in the room. I will be going in a little bit. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is this news from Dish is huge. And I'm going to explain why I think it's really big. I'm also going to explain why I think this was really sneaky of Dish to kind of throw this in after 4 p.m. on Friday. Right? They're literally trying to get away from the news cycle. They try to avoid this at all cost. And I get it. You know, their stock, their ticker is in the pits. The value of their company in the pits. You know, they were just removed from the S&P 500. Now I think they're in like the small cap 1000 or something. I don't know. Anyways, let me give you guys the details. Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of Dish Network resigns. Nicole Thomas to take over as Regional Vice President. Oh my God, this is bad. As of June 23rd, which is today, Narayan Iyengar, EVP and Chief Operating Officer of Dish, has tendered his resignation from his post. Iyengar was tasked with overseeing crucial business operations, particularly in enhancing customer experience. Following Iyengar's departure, Nicole Thomas will be taking over as the regional vice president at Dish Network. Thomas has an impressive track record when it comes to executing network builds, developing strategies, and establishing process infrastructure. So the replacement for what is his name? Iyengar. Okay, sounds like they are a perfectly capable management material, but this has to be said. Dish tried to sneak this in at the buzzer. They literally put it on the last day of the week when everybody at all these news outlets finished all their work for the week, wrote out all their stories, dropped all their stories, released all the material and content they had to get through, and they snuck it in at the last second. Right? And of course, there probably would have been some negative buzz about this because let's be honest, folks, if there's one thing we know about Dish is they have been in a whole crock of doo-doo since this whole wireless thing started. Setback after setback after setback, right? They had a hard time getting a network deal. They had a hard time dealing with T-Mobile on spectrum leases. They had a hard time, with their FCC requirements. They have a hard time with, the cyber attack and the ransomware. They have been through the ringer every step of the way in this whole wireless thing. Some of that has been self-inflicted wounds. They have not handled the situation well either. So life is hitting Dish in the face, and they've also made bad decisions in the process. I think the company in and of itself, when you look at like Boost Mobile, Boost Infinite, Project Genesis, they're all trying to do the right thing. Everybody wants to see the company succeed. Everybody wants the carrier to do well. But it's stuff like this, right? The fact that there's all this turnover at the company tells us that this company is on fire. I don't care. I'm going to shoot straight. I'm hopeful for the network. I support the network build out. I hope they're able to raise more capital. I hope they're able to complete the build. I want to see their retail take off for them. But holy hell, every month, someone in the executive team is leaving Dish, whether it's the Dish Wireless side of it or it's just the Dish Network side of it, which that's what this individual does, right? They don't work in the wireless segment per se, but it says here Dish Network, I guess so. But they've had executives coming and going from this company, and it all circles back to one person. It's Charlie Ergen, the president and chairman of the board, and the majority shareholder. He is the problem. These people are leaving Dish because Charlie Ergen is difficult. They were hired to do a job, and then, of course, Charlie's going to micromanage. Word on the street is Charlie still writes the checks for dollar amounts in and around $20,000. That is insane. Can you talk about a micromanager? B, let me get you in here, bro. Literally nothing but negativity over at Dish. Now their executives, a big one, right? COO and EVP leaving the company, man.
Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's well. It's unfortunate to hear people, kind of defecting from Dish, but it's par for the course. Again, we've talked about Dish ad nauseum before, and the company's between a rock and a hard place. There have been rumblings about Charlie Ergen being difficult to work with and difficult to manage a business with, but a lot of times those things can be mitigated as long as leaders feel like they have the assets to be able to succeed. And unfortunately, Charlie and his team just haven't really been able to keep up as far as collecting the assets that they need to compete at scale long term. They're in between a rock and a hard place with respect to spectrum. They're in between a rock and a hard place with respect to building out a network that's going to be competitive nationally. I really don't see a pathway forward for them organically, where they're able to really grow and compete with the other three carriers. And it's just unfortunate the position that they're in. So a lot of people are choosing themselves. They're, choosing self-preservation, and they're getting off the reservation now, while they feel like they can, because between the stresses of kind of trying to run a business alongside Charlie Ergen and also not really having the assets to compete, guys aren't willing to go down with the ship. And I mean, they don't have to their credit. They're not the CEO. So what it just sounds like to me is just self-preservation and guys, choosing themselves and getting out of there while they can.
All right. So for starters, telco is hard. This is a tough industry, right? It is not for the weak of heart. It's not for the thin skin. All right. So we can definitely put that out on Front Street. But the fact that these people are bouncing, essentially every month we hear about a new executive leaving. I think this is more indicative of how leadership is kind of, and when I speak to leadership, I'm talking about Charlie, because Charlie is the same guy. It's who he's always been. It's what he is. What I find interesting is that he hires these people, puts people's, into these positions, and then what I think is happening, and I could be wrong, but I think they aren't allowed to have that autonomy, right? They're not able to kind of do their thing. They're getting micromanaged. I think he's breathing down their neck, and I don't think that's what they signed up for. Anybody who's going to be part of the Dish team moving forward, anybody who's going to be a part of the Dish Wireless build, and when I say build, I'm not just talking network. I'm talking about the business. So that means retail operations, business development, the processes and the hiring and all this, the business model development, all of that. Anybody who's going to work for Dish has to know that Charlie is going to have say over everything, and he's going to be meddling. He's going to be in everything. His hands are going to be all over the place. And I don't think anyone that gets hired or he hires is actually going to have full autonomy and is going to actually be making meaningful decisions. I don't think so.
Well, I don't think anybody should anticipate anything differently. When things aren't going well, I don't know of very many leaders who sit back and let people do their jobs, quote unquote. They want to know what's going on. They want to know what levers are being pulled. They want to know if, they want to get information and updates quicker than normal, whatever the case may be. And it's because, again, the only one going to Capitol Hill to talk to DC is Charlie. The executive vice president, the COO, they're not going to DC. He is. So, of course, if things not necessarily going all that great with him, kind of trying to advocate to, have more time and get deadlines pushed back for, the next phase of their network rollout, it's par for the course. These are human beings. People don't stop having blood running through their veins just because they're prominent leaders of businesses and whatnot that are huge or that are big. They're still human beings. So it's kind of par for the course until Dish is able to kind of turn things around, and until pressure subsides. I can't see Charlie sitting back and letting people do what they do. because nobody in the business, including Charlie, has earned the right to have, more autonomy. Nobody's earned the right to do that yet. Everybody is kind of running around with their head, with their hair on fire because the business isn't really performing well overall. So that's just the way it's going to be until they can turn things around. Charlie, I'm not sure how many CEOs would operate much differently. One of the most famous CEOs of all time, Steve Jobs. I mean, shoot, man, he operated that way even when things were going well at Apple. So it just kind of is what it is.
Good stuff, B. Yeah, it's going to be messy for a while. I mean, even if things stabilize, I don't expect it to be anytime soon. I expect a more tumultuous future for them, at least in the near term. It's going to take a miracle to get that vision, that business plan going. I'd say heavy investment and the right people. A perfect storm would have to happen, and it's going to take years.
Yeah, doomed to fail from the start. You know where I stand on this,
I
Sneed.
do. I do.
I won't go into my soliloquy on it, but doomed to fail from the start. This is not going to work. You can't just give a company bits and pieces to build a telco network. This isn't the industry you can do that. I need my Legos, man. I need a complete set of Legos, and if you're not going to do that, uh, it's not going to work. Um, I feel bad for everyone involved because they were not given the assets that they needed to truly compete. They're building a network from scratch, from
It's
scratch.
hard.
I
That's a
mean,
daunting task.
nobody's done that in 30 years in telco in this country. Who had to build a network from scratch in this country in the last 30
Nobody.
years?
Nobody.
Yeah, I
It's been
mean,
the evolution of decades of investment.
what they're undertaking is an impossible ask, and it's laughable. And to be honest, it's disrespectful. It really, really is. It's disrespectful to the entire industry and to the people who truly build these networks and maintain them every day of their lives. To ask these guys, I mean, the fact that they got to 70%, I commend them because America's huge. There's
It is.
3,000 municipalities in this country. There's 50 different states. There's a lot of red tape that's involved in what it is that these telcos are tasked with doing. The fact that they got to 70% is a testament to the fact that they're at least trying, but they just don't have the assets to compete, man. So the sharks are already in the water. People are already commenting and licking their chops on the assets as we speak. So, you talk about that kind of thing and it just doesn't look good. So it just doesn't look good.
Good stuff. Appreciate it, Tana. Thanks for coming through, homie. Appreciate you. Member and supporter and friend of the show. And he said F Charlie. Yeah, a lot of people would agree with that sentiment. He's not a fan favorite, that's for sure. Let's see
Well,
here.
in the telco space, who is? I mean, what
Oh
CEO do
no, good
people?
point. Yeah,
Yeah,
good
in
point.
the telco space, really outside
Actually,
of.
you know what? Be honest with you. If we're gonna talk telco, I think Hans is the most liked person. I know the customers, I know the consumer sentiment is like, "Oh, this guy, he's the worst." But actually, I'll be honest with you, man. Stanky looks awful right now. He looks like the big mean monster, and we know Eugene is. I mean, he's about as real as a $4 bill.
Yeah,
So to me, I feel like you get what you see is what you get with Hans. You can actually respect that.
yeah. I mean, he's not. He doesn't seem to be a liar. He doesn't seem to be a
No,
guy that's going to pander or anything. He's going to give it to you
no.
straight.
Yes,
And I
I
mean,
agree, bro. I agree. Yeah.
to me, that's refreshing to see from a leader because a lot of times, they want to
The
sell you
space full of
dreams and
frauds,
everything.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. And it's like, with Hans, he's going to give it to you. So this is what it is. This is what we're trying to do. And, you like it or you don't. But,
Right.
you know, his company, he's trying to build a network. That's what he seemed to be tasked with doing. And
Mhm.
maybe the next guy would have to be tasked with trying to figure out how to make money off of it. But
Yeah. Yeah.
mm,
I agree. All right, this one is from the AT&T newsroom. AT&T will release the second quarter 2023 earnings July 26th. That puts it at about 33 days or something. I don't know. They'll release those earnings for Q2 at that time. And let's see if there's anything else here. It says a webcast and a conference call to discuss the results at that time, scheduled for 8:30 a.m. I'm not sure what day of the week that is, but if I'm off of work, you guys can best believe I'll be listening in and getting all the bits and pieces for you and giving you the rundown. If I had to kind of do my predictions, pretty simple. They just guided down their numbers in terms of net ads. I think they did 420 some thousand last quarter, and they said that this quarter is going to be lower. And I think they said it'll be about 100,000 less. So I trust them. I don't think they would lie about a downgrade. So I'd say, okay, fine. Let's say they add 330,000 net ads in postpaid. That probably means they've slowed down their promotional intensity. That probably means that VA contract is gone, right? So that I think that impacts about 20,000 of those ads that they would have had, and there's an additional 50 or so thousand that'll probably impact the company in the next 2 quarters. But by Q4, it'll probably all be scattered away and won't be impacting numbers anymore. They did say that free cash flow is scheduled to be on point. All right, they said that they wanted to get 16 billion at the end of the year. They got 1 billion in Q1. That would be 15 billion the rest of the way. So I guess they're probably projecting 4.5 billion at least for Q2. If they do that, the stock will sky through the roof, because that was the thing that made the stock plummet last quarter. When they missed on the free cash flow number, which the prediction was, 2, 3, 4 billion or whatever, the stock price went down 10 or 11%. Investors literally capitulated at a insane rate. Stock price plummeted. I think it continued to dip a couple more percent over the coming days. And well, it would make sense that if they nail their free cash flow now, right, the money starts flowing back in and the investors are happy. Don't forget that AT&T has a very healthy dividend, and they have incredible amounts of revenues, service revenues that they generate as a wireless operator, plus also a fiber operator. The business segment is doing pretty good these days. You know what I'm looking for, B? I'm looking for churn. I'm looking to see where that sits. They did say that it spiked a little bit during the quarter, but they said it has leveled off since. Does that mean that they're not going to be best in industry churn? Does that mean they come in at number 2? Does that mean they come in at number 3? I don't know. But that's something I'm interested to see. I also would like to see some more details on why the net ads are slowing. If it's promotional intensity, they could let us know and explain it. Maybe it's competition, right? Maybe it's T-Mobile's plans. Maybe it's, Verizon's new plans. Maybe it's cable, right? They could speak to that. I'd also like a C-band update. I'd like to know how many millions of pops they now have across the country. I'd like to know more about their wireless build. Obviously, if we get some details on the whole BlackRock Gigapower thing, Gigapower, whatever it's called, the joint venture, we'd like some detail on that. So there's like 10 things that I want to know. All right. Are there certain things that you're looking forward to and learning about what's going on at the Death Star?
Everything that you said times 2, Sneed. As usual, you're spot on, man. At the end of the day, AT&T is a very healthy business. They're being run very well. Stanky's doing a great job. The promotional spend wasn't going to be what it is currently forever. They were going to dial it down. What they're trying to do, they're undertaking a very, very difficult task right now at a time when interest rates are up. The cost to borrow money is very expensive for these businesses. So they have to be very wise with how they allocate capital. And so what they're trying to do is the same thing Verizon tried to do a few years ago, in a one could argue in a worse market than when Verizon tried to do it. So they're trying to build out a fiber to the premise network. They've sought after BlackRock to help them fund that, but they're also trying to phase out and build out their 5G network as well. So you got 2 different builds going on at the same time. Something had to give, and it's the promotional spend that's starting to give. It's the same thing with all 3 of the major telcos. Promotional spend is going away because now it's time to start getting a return on investment. And if you're not going to get a return on investment via new use cases and things of that nature, which have been hard to come by based on what we know and what's been reported by industry analysts, then the next lever that's going to be pulled is pricing. Promotional spend will be what goes away first. And then after that, what we'll start to see is the pricing increases. I know that that's kind of been done already. I know AT&T's, increased prices before. Verizon has a few times. T-Mobile recently has. I don't think that that's going to be over. So I would like to see and kind of hear from AT&T with respect to giving us a forecast on how they plan to move forward with their new pricing on their new plans and whatnot. That's probably number one on my list, how they're going to respond. I personally think Verizon may have taken a page out of AT&T's book with respect to not placing a lot of the streaming services, not including all that stuff into the plans, just kind of giving people base network performance capabilities, and then as opposed to kind of pivoting away from AT&T and then making those things available to people to add as add-ons, as perks and whatnot. That makes a lot of sense and kind of differentiates them from the market. It'll be interesting to see if AT&T does something similar, or if they decide to go the way of T-Mobile and placing those things into the plan. I think that's probably going to be something I'd like to hear them speak on going forward, or if they're going to just remain the same and go as they are. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And their first quarter earnings report showed that they grew at a pretty good pace. So perhaps they're more than happy to stand pat with the numbers that they have and the plans that they have. So for me, those are the biggest things that I'm looking forward to seeing.
Maybe we get some fiber disclosures. Maybe they talk about the penetration rate. I'd like to see where that goes. I always kind of I follow the Verizon Files thing, obviously. I like to follow that, as well as, AT&T's fiber thing. Really, the BlackRock Gigapower thing is big to me. I want to know more about that. Don't forget AT&T and the layoffs, right? Where we're going to see what exactly is going on. That whole work from home situation. I don't know if you caught that story earlier this week, B. Where a lot
I
of the
did.
managers have been told, instructed, come back to the office. Some of them moved out of the cities, right? In
Yeah.
my estimation, I think that was a bad decision to do that, especially if you had a family,
Yeah.
right? To leave the city you were hired in, go home due to the pandemic, working from home, but nowhere in your contract, nowhere in your job description did it say that you would be permanently working remotely. Right, so I think those people made bad decisions, and AT&T being in its position that it's in, these people gave AT&T a reason to cut them off. Right, so bad
Yeah.
decisions. So I think those individuals that are impacted in that way, I don't feel bad for them. I do feel bad for competent employees. I do feel bad for people that are viewed as surpluses, who are good workers, hard workers, go to their job every day, do exactly what the description has asked of them, and follow through on all their tasks. So, it's kind of a mixed bag in my opinion, kind of good and bad there. So I want to see if maybe Stanky talks about that. How many employees laid off? Because the shareholder is so powerful, B.
Yep.
Right? The shareholder is so powerful that they literally dictate the current moves at a carrier and the future moves at a carrier.
Yeah.
And that impacts CapEx, OpEx, that impacts the paying down of debt, that impacts the dividend, right? The yield. And I think when you look at the quarterly results, everything can be good except one thing, and then things go off the handle. Like what we saw last quarter.
Well, I think companies are looking to figure out ways to reduce operational expense, to reduce cost. That's happening regardless of industry right now, and unfortunately, the way businesses are set up, the most expensive cost to any business oftentimes is the people that the business employs. So, unfortunately, that's just kind of par for the course right now, because again, it's very expensive to borrow money right now. So companies are trying to make sure that they're very prudent, very wise, very shrewd with their capital expense, and with how they manage their finances. So it makes a lot of sense for them to look at ways to be able to see what they can, what do they need, what's the workforce that they really need to operate the business, and where can they afford to make some changes. So definitely unfortunate for all parties involved. But That's kind of where it is. The consumer is also cutting back, so it makes sense for businesses to do the same. That's just being a wise steward over the business that you've been hired to run. So it makes sense for AT&T to do that, especially since they already have way more employees than everybody else in the industry. I think Verizon has like 115. They got like 160,000 employees. I'm not sure why they levered up so much, but it seems like there's some opportunities to be able to kind of reduce some of that a little bit, in order for them to be able to kind of manage things until they start to see some more return on investment for the things that they're doing. I think EM Tech had a good response as far as them choosing to invest in fiber, with them not having the spectrum assets that Verizon has, and even to some extent that T-Mobile has with respect to 5G. It makes sense for them to build out what they know they can get to the customer without having to spend on additional spectrum right now that isn't even available via auction. They have the 5G spectrum that they've got, but it's less than Verizon, it's less than T-Mobile. So they're preparing and they're building, trying to get an FWA product out, but they also know they can play in the fiber game as good as anyone in the industry. So it makes a lot of sense for them to invest in fiber to the premise, within their ILEC footprint, and then even also outside of their footprint, in order to be able to gain as much market share as they can, and continue, that positive momentum towards the business. So I think Stanky's doing, all things considered, a really solid job at running the business, making some tough decisions, unfortunately, but doing what he has to do to kind of weather the storm. That's what the investors are asking them to do right now, and it makes a lot of sense. So,
Hey, big shout out to Southwest Ohio Speed Testing, the first super chat of the night. He said, hope everyone is having a great night. I think news articles are making these layoff news about remote workers sound like it's the company's fault. So there are probably some people who are, like I said previously, who are going to be impacted by this, who are good workers, haven't done anything wrong. AT&T is just going to call them surpluses, right? So they're just going to get rid of those positions. They're just going to lay off those people. They'll get severance, they'll get unemployment, and then they'll just move on with their lives, maybe stay with the company, reapply to a different position. I doubt it. Most of them are probably going to leave. But yeah, there's a large number. I mean, thousands of managers who made bad decisions to leave the cities they were hired in, to work remotely in some other, from wherever they decided to move to. Those are bad decisions, and they're obviously going to have to pay the piper now. And there's actually, I'm privy to some details that I can't really discuss now because the news isn't official. But let's just put it this way: the people I'm talking about that moved away and are pissed about the whole situation, they potentially are doing some things behind the scenes that could really get them in trouble. All right. And I'll be making some video content on it at a later time when I have more details. But to put it lightly, these people are not innocent. Right. And I don't protect corporations, but you got to call a spade, and you got to be honest and straightforward. These people aren't angels. They are not innocent. They tried to do what was best for them at the expense of the corporation, so the corporation had to act. That's what I'll say for now. All right. What up, Brandon?
What up?
So we were just talking about AT&T, and one of the things I wanted to add to this, I got a bone to pick with AT&T. And the reason I have a bone to pick with AT&T is because AT&T has a good wireless network. And I swear you wouldn't know it if you just followed their marketing. They don't talk about it. They don't drop news releases about it, right? They don't tell people where they've been doing upgrades. They don't tell people, how the upgrades are going to improve their experiences. You don't see the marketing for it. You don't see the dedicated awareness. I think it's time that we celebrate Verizon for that, right? If you go to their newsroom, their news center, they tell you which markets are getting C-band. They tell you how many megahertz of bandwidth. They tell you if there's millimeter wave. They tell you if there's 10 gig fiber circuits. Verizon is doing their part, spending tens of billions of dollars on their network, and they want to tell everybody about it, and that's exactly what they should be doing. Then you have AT&T. Everything is a damn secret. They don't want to talk about anything. All they want to do is tell their investors, we want to be the broadband leader. That's all they say. But they don't tell you where, they don't tell you how, they don't tell you about the wireless, right? They should be screaming at the top of the mountain, look at what we're doing with fiber assets. Here's what we're doing with gigapower. Here are the new markets. Here's what we're doing at scale in those markets. Here's the millions of pops covered we have. Like, it feels like literally all of that stuff is in the dark right now. The only company who I think is doing a really, really good job of being transparent, open, and honest about all of their developments is Verizon, right? T-Mobile, they've kind of hit that point where it's like, what are you going to do? You're going to celebrate going from 275 million pops to 295? You know, it's not really a thing anymore for them. So they're beyond that. Now they're, just focusing on market share growth, right? Or whatever. They've got their projects they're working on. But like, what is AT&T doing? They're not letting the consumer know, hey, we're competitive. Look at what we're doing. Look at what we're building. Here's what we offer. We don't see it. And like, I'm in an AT&T market where they have fiber and a great wireless network, and the upgrades are substantial, and you wouldn't know. You don't see the branding. We don't see the marketing. We don't see the advertisements. We don't see the aggressive, the approach to the consumer, the bundling. They have the assets to do something really good, and I just feel like it's not executing for them. Brandon, do you feel the same way, or do you see it differently?
Ever since they sold off the video, like DirecTV, the video
Media?
cable side of the business, they basically killed the bundle. Advertising, they really don't advertise enough a lot anymore. I mean, Lily is still around, but not as much as she used to be. But they've actually cut down a lot on advertisements. But good for them, and they're still growing and having good quarters and stuff like that. But also props to them that they're expanding fiber.
I don't know. I feel like they should be really putting this stuff on blast. B, let me get you in here.
Verizon showing everybody how to do it. So
exactly.
We understand that. Showing everybody how to do it. I've talked on this before. AT&T's got a lot of assets, but unfortunately, they don't necessarily have a go-to-market strategy with respect to talking about what it is that separates and differentiates them from their competitors. They don't tout the best network. If they feel they have the best network, they certainly don't tout it. They don't really speak to anything outside of, we just want to be the biggest fiber player. And that's fine. But
they said they want to be the broadband leader.
Okay. What steps are they doing to go about doing that?
We don't know.
They don't speak on FWA very much. They haven't told us much about the Gigapower project that they're working on. They have reported on some of their financials that went out every quarter, but that's not good enough. You got to market it. You got to talk to the consumer about it. You got to talk to more than just the investor on investor calls. You got to have an investor day. You got to talk about these things. But they just don't do a very good job of that. And I understand it. No telco has really done a great job of marketing outside of T-Mobile collectively the last few years. They've kind of, to their credit, invented this new way of kind of doing things. But as a way to do it and have it be transparent, objective, not slimy or anything like that, I really appreciate and respect how Verizon is showing up and going to market right now. They've been consistent. They've let the entire world know when they've entered into a market with their C-band rollout. They've told us how much spectrum they're deploying. They've talked to us about it. And then again, they've been consistent in the transparency. It makes a lot of sense and it matters. It helps people be able to trust what they say. And every time they turn the market up, all of a sudden, they end up winning that market when it comes to root. I mean, they're really doing a great job. And as we continue to get further and further into 2023 and then into 2024, I don't expect that to slow down. I really don't. So I think Hans and his team are making some good headway and pushing some good buttons. I commend them for what they're doing, even with respect to the new plans. They've been very aggressive. Every time I go on YouTube, I'm seeing something about the new plans. Every time I'm on social media, I'm seeing something about the new plans. They've been consistent. in their marketing in regards to that plan.
But bro, the new
That
plans
makes a
aren't
lot of sense.
working. They're still Brian.
I disagree. I
The
disagree.
new
I think
plans
it
aren't
depends.
working.
I think it
So,
depends on how you
that means you're
define
telling
working.
me the consumers aren't buying the lines. They're still
I
having net
disagree.
losses
I
on
disagree.
consumer side.
I think it's too early to say. We'll see what happens in the second quarter
Okay.
when they release their stuff. But unless you've got some insider information that we're not privy to and you like to share, then that would be great. But if not, I mean, if they report churn that's in line with the rest of the industry, then maybe they're on to something. I don't know.
Yeah, most of the problem is Verizon. Most of their customers are going to cable, and cable they're making less money off the cable customer than the Verizon customer that's paying postpaid.
Well, that's true, but I think AT&T just got finished revising their guidance down because of the same issue. So I don't think cable is picking on just one telco. They're taking customers from everybody, and it's hard to beat $40 or whatever they're charging. So, I mean, it is what it is. I think Verizon's in better shape to be able to weather that storm than the other two competitors because they're the ones who are in bed with big cable as far as the network is concerned. So it is what it is. You can't really compete on price. You can't outprice the MVNOs. That's why the MVNOs and not the MNOs. But I don't think that necessarily means that the plans aren't working. I think it just means you can't beat $40. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
The plans might actually be working because one of the things that I was thinking about earlier this week was a lot of people like the plans are $10 cheaper, but not everyone's gonna want to watch ESPN, Hulu, Pinocchio, and have Apple Music and all that shit.
Yeah.
Most people probably are password sharing Netflix, which I don't know how that's going right now, and they're probably using YouTube Music or Spotify or even freaking hell Pandora.
Yeah, Yeah, you go ahead because I have some news I want to share.
All they did with the new plans is take a page out of AT&T's book and have people just pay for network service, but they just added to what AT&T offered by making those streaming services still available.
Having the play share or whatever it's called.
The biggest difference between AT&T and Verizon, and it will continue being the same thing, which is new and existing customers get the same promo, which is $1,000 off. That's the thing that kills it.
They're not doing,
but that's going away
anymore.
Yeah, that's going away.
They're doing up to 800 now, I think, right?
Yeah, 800 to 1,000, and any unlimited plan.
That's, right. I mean, that's $200. It's a lot of money.
That's a lot.
That's $800.
I mean, Verizon's doing $800 too. So I mean, they're mirroring each other. But the differentiator for Verizon seems to be that they still
offer
unlimited
plan. But hold up, any unlimited plan, you can be on starter and getting the 25% discount and still pay and getting the 800 off.
We're on the same page. We know that AT&T is more promotionally focused. We know that, and that's worked for them. They've been able to grow through that. Verizon has picked their spots. They've had moments within the quarter, every quarter, where they've been more aggressive with that, and they've pulled customers in with those promotions, and then they've pulled them away, right? Because it's expensive. And, if you think about it, man, it may take 30 months to get a decent ROI on obtaining that customer. And that's why AT&T does a 36-month installment.
3 years. Yeah. And the problem with Verizon is they're known for their network, and the other two are catching up very close. And today I was at a graduation at Rutgers Stadium. I mean, not Rutgers Stadium, the Rutgers basketball stadium.
Oh, in the arena?
Yep. So I did a couple. So outside, this was like early, barely anyone there. All three carriers doing amazing, over 100. In the stadium, no indoor DAS system for any of the carriers. Verizon, one down, one up, so you could barely do anything. T-Mobile, 100 up and like one down. And AT&T was at like 100 to 150 down and like 510 up. But the problem was with Verizon, when people were trying to get a hold of other like the students, the calls weren't going through. Because I had my friend and he had Verizon and the calls just didn't go through, which was weird. But that's Rutgers. That's their basketball stadium. That's Big Ten. That's not good.
So
I was surprised.
So what was deployed there? What was Verizon deployed? I mean, what did they have deployed?
They didn't have C-band. There was no N77.
Okay,
so just CBRS.
Okay, well then there's the answer. There's the riddle. So
this is Rutgers. This is Big Ten basketball. This isn't no little stadium in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. They have this millimeter wave they brag about. Put a millimeter wave in there.
They might do it.
Yeah, they might. They
might do it. You know, it's never too late to add, you know, network supports. We've seen what Verizon can do. I mean, you know, you could pick apart little, you know, locations here and there where they're not doing too hot, but for the most part, I feel like on a national scale, their network's really hard to beat, man.
Oh, yeah, it's really hard to beat.
They do a really good job in metros. Their state level performances are really starting to improve. They're starting to really get there with AT&T, you know, and you know, they're very reliable. I think they have high quality engineers in a lot of these markets, and you know, there's work to do. They've got an older network in some of these parts, and of course, I think you found yourself a spot where it's weak and they need an additional cell site.
But the problem is, it's not just it's weak and it's a spot. This is like everyone goes there. This isn't just like, this is basically like New York City. Like
maybe a radio was out, bro. I mean,
NCA.
Right, but I mean, anything could happen. You're talking about one location. I'm not trying to make an excuse. I'm just saying if it was characteristic, like if we're talking about arenas, nobody does arenas better than Verizon. If we're just talking about the arena setting, name me a better carrier to have than Verizon. Yeah. Usually, right? Usually
have Verizon. Usually they have all three carriers usually have DAS systems. Out the arenas that I've been to, MetLife Stadium, they all have DAS systems. And the thing is with Verizon, why would I spend the same amount more money for the carrier, but the performance is about the same as all the others?
Yeah, but if you look at the pricing right now, AT&T is more expensive than Verizon.
Yeah, all three of them are very closely priced, and Verizon is the cheapest of the three before any other promotional discounts or taxes or anything like that. I think Verizon's already addressed pricing.
I mean, even T-Mobile is more expensive than Verizon right now. On a single line of Get More, or what do they call it? The Go 5G Plus?
Go 5G Plus.
Yeah, that's more expensive than the upper level unlimited plan from Verizon by $10.
Yeah, well, most of these accounts, because I've worked for both carriers, and most of these accounts are like 4 or 5 lines. They're on legacy plans, 25% off. Even Verizon, like legacy plans, I'd say about
so if
70
like YouTube
80%.
T-Mobile includes taxes though. So what are we talking about? A couple of bucks? But I mean, I'm looking at pricing. It's a push now.
It really is.
Yeah, right now it's a huge push because of the economy.
Yeah, so I mean, it sounds like Verizon has addressed pricing with that in mind. So I don't think that's as much of an issue as it was a long time ago.
Yeah, the way they addressed pricing was we're gonna use the MVNOs. The MVNOs are gonna use our network.
Well, I mean, it's smart to do it that way. No other carrier has done it to the same scale,
but
and it makes a lot of sense for them to do that.
But you know, there's agreements with like Spectrum and Comcast where Verizon, they have to use Verizon's network, but Verizon has to use a certain percentage of backhaul through them. They can't get out of that lease. Or it's like a long-term lease, so they have to use their backhaul. So it's not like Verizon's just getting the money. They still have to rent backhaul from Spectrum because of that contract.
Well, I'm sure.
Big shout out to Southwest Ohio Speed Testing with the super chat. He said, "Can DAS systems do C-band or DoD?" C-band, yes. I don't know about DoD, but thanks for the super chat, bud. Go ahead, B.
I'm sure that there are still agreements for backhaul to be carried by a lot of big cable, whether it be Comcast, all the people that Verizon's done business with outside of their outlet footprint. But those circuit numbers are going down, not up. So
no, there is a contract. When Spectrum, I know 100% Spectrum. When Spectrum got the contract from Verizon, Spectrum said, "Hey, you got to have X percentage of backhaul through us.
And I'm sure that's the case. What I'm saying
30,
is
40 years.
What I'm saying is
So
that those, I'm sure that number
those
is
places,
probably
they
fixed.
can't use one fiber.
Agreed, but I'm sure that those places are probably fixed. So every new site, for example, that Verizon puts into service, I'm sure is not subject to that agreement. That number was
It's not
probably
subjected
fixed
to that
on
agreement.
embedded based sites that are already carrying traffic and have no bearing on new projects that the company brings to market. So I mean that's fine, but that's essentially a buoy for Spectrum, for example, not necessarily an engine to propel them forward. That's just allowing them to keep the bills paid. So I think Verizon still wins as far as that whole agreement, that partnership is concerned, because they've got a wireless network and they've got a wireline network. Spectrum only has one, and they're leasing the other. So owners' economics is always going to win, and that's why I think Verizon's in a good standing. AT&T is to a certain extent as well.
Yeah, Verizon's not doing over here in Jersey and PA. I've been to a lot of places. They're not building files anymore. Not as much as they used to back in 4 or 5 years ago. There used to be files everywhere.
Well, I think that may be because they're building a 5G network at this time, and since the capital is limited, you have to pick one in some areas. So I think they may be choosing to pick the wireless network at this time.
Yeah, that's why they sold Frontier.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens at the end of the year when there's when Verizon reported that they'll have more of their C-band available. And the good thing about what you're talking about is that there's already a solution in the pipe, and the solution is C-band. And since you were saying C-band wasn't transmitting at Rutgers University today during the event that you went to, the good news is that it will be at some point. And so that'll be the solution that'll serve that area better going forward, which is a good thing.
You know how you said they had to pick one? Right? You're talking about like fiber and wireless, and you got to kind of allocate resources within those segments, right?
Yeah, in some areas, yeah.
Yeah, so check this out, right? You can pick one too, SMT Nation. You could support us by getting us a coffee. All right. The real SMT Buy Me a Coffee link is in the description. If you guys want to show your appreciation for all the content here on the channel, get us a coffee, keep the SMT caffeinated and motivated. And of course, another way you can help us out is by trying out the Mint Mobile service. Use the partner link that's in the description, mintmobile.com/sneed. The new customer offer is any plan, $15. So the way that the deflation promo works is you take the normally priced unlimited plan of $30 per month, cut it in half, 50% off, $15 per month for that unlimited plan. So use our link. You'll save money. You'll be helping out the channel, get their legendary customer care. It really is a great value. The SMT Nation has been taking advantage of it. A lot of people using the deflation promo to their advantage and saving dollars. All right, so check them out, Mint Mobile. All right, we were talking about Verizon and the network, and we were talking about C-band and all these upgrades. And actually earlier, in the conversation about why doesn't AT&T talk more about what they're doing, I think that's a strength of Verizon, and here's proof of it. All right, this is dated from yesterday. Verizon upgrades network for Buffalo customers. Buffalo, New York. Here we go. Engineers have deployed 5G ultra-wideband service using mmWave and C-band spectrum, along with increasing capacity and wider breadth of coverage. It says this is going to reach 1.1 million people now having access to the 5G service from Verizon. Areas include Niagara Falls, KeyBank Arena, New Era Stadium, sunny Fredonia, Chautauqua County Fairgrounds, portions of the NYS Thruway throughout the town of Dunkirk, and throughout Marshfield, specifically improving intersections of New York State Route 75 and 448, as well as the intersection of NYS Route 75 and Marshfield Road. The C-band spectrum is in the range of 60 to 100 megahertz. That's interesting. So that basically means some parts of the Buffalo area have gotten early clearance for additional spectrum. That's great. So you'll see some sites doing 60 megahertz, some sites doing 100 megahertz. Additionally, it says that twice that amount will be cleared by the end of the year, right? So the rest of the spectrum will get cleared. And then it says here that they have been upgrading fiber optic cable links 10 times the capacity means 10 gig circuits. Sounds to me like New York customers, Buffalo area, can rejoice. You're going to get yourself an improved mobile network experience along with a 5G home internet option to compete with your cable coaxial DSL or satellite provider. Fiber, obviously that's the move, but Verizon will give you the next best thing in my opinion. All right, so that's Buffalo for you.
So just FYI, anything that's millimeter wave gets an automatic 25 gig.
Well, we like the sound of that. Zero cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like the sound of that.
Happy freaking Friday, everybody.
Hey, Zero cool. What's going on, brother?
What's up, man? Nothing much.
Yeah, man. Well, the C-band circuits are kind of, that's usually the 10 gig joints. The from what I understand is each millimeter wave node gets its own dedicated fiber circuit, right? So that sounds freaking awesome.
That depends on if it's like those are mostly for like football stadiums, DAS systems, INAF, ODAS.
Got you. The 10, 20,000 joints.
Correct,
lots of people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. All right. So Buffalo customers rejoice. Anybody here from the Buffalo area or been to the Buffalo area? Orchard Park or something? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Waiting for that new stadium in Buffalo. Better have a DAS system in there.
Yeah?
Yeah, Buffalo's getting this. They better have a DAS system in there.
Yeah, they better. Anything associated with the NFL, expect Verizon to come through.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, don't expect it to be like Rutgers, dog. Don't even think about it.
No, Rutgers.
What up, EM Tech? You joining us late, man?
Because I remember when I was at MetLife Stadium for a year for football, and Verizon didn't have millimeter wave. And this was when they signed the contract.
How long ago was that?
I think it was 2 years ago. So I'm still surprised. They don't have it in all stadiums.
They don't?
When I was at MetLife, they didn't. I don't know if they have them at all stadiums. The problem with millimeter wave is it's not everywhere. And that's the main problem.
They definitely don't have it where you are right now, dog. We can't even hear you. Oh, man.
Verizon N77.
Oh, you're back. Welcome. Nope. Did we lose him? We back? What up, Los?
Well,
what up?
What up, why?
I don't think Verizon ever promised to put millimeter wave everywhere. So they're not necessarily not following what they said they were going to do. They said they were going to be selective with respect to how they deploy it and what they will put it in urban centers as they see fit. So
what do you mean?
That'll happen.
You mean they're not going to put millimeter wave in every single city block in every town in the United States? Come on, man.
Absolutely not. At least that's what they said.
I don't need one on every block. I just need one on my block. You feel me?
Bro, either I need that, bro, or I need that damn Fios already, bro.
I know, right? Well, or AT&T Fiber, Los. They're coming, dog.
Yeah, right, bro. I haven't seen nothing, bro. Get that smoke out of here. I already see Verizon tapping the first street in my complex. They're literally trenching the street and running the fiber to the house.
Mm.
I think Verizon will be at my house.
Man, we got some connection problems, man. It's good to be on fiber. Let me tell you.
Bro, what a perfect time for AT&T to come in. They could, and Google. I mean, the street is being dug up by Verizon.
Yeah, get in on that conduit, right?
I'm sure Verizon will lease some space in the conduit for a fee.
Mm-hmm. Everything's got a fee, dog. There was a famous saying made by a very wise man by the name of Tommy Strong back in the day. He said, "I can cut you in, or I can cut you out, or I could just cut you."
Yeah.
So if you want in, you can get in. All right, next news story. T-Mobile opens Sheldon storefront. I've never even heard of a
it'll be
town
closed in
called
a week.
Sheldon. It'll be closed in a week? Sheesh,
God
man.
damn.
I know, right? All right, so Sheldon Crossroads Court opened for a T-Mobile store in April. It's the only T-Mobile store within an hour's radius, according to their manager. It says, we do have a lot of future plans for growth, especially in this area, she said. T-Mobile plans to expand into rural Iowa are not all that surprising. The company, which uses the slogan "The Uncarrier," announced a plan to build hundreds of new retail stores in small towns across the country in April of 2021. It says, we have one goal here: be your hometown network so the towns so many of us love aren't left behind in the next wireless generation. Hashtag 5G for all. All right, so I don't know if you guys can remember back in the day, there was the iWireless acquisition, right? So that would be tower sites, assets, customers. It's good to see them kind of putting things together and actually kind of addressing that. This reminds me a lot of what Verizon did with Bluegrass in Kentucky. So it kind of has those same vibes. So this initiative, which was created back in 2021, a couple years later, we got some action here in Iowa, which is good. I don't know if anybody in the live chat or in the SMT Nation is from this part of Iowa, has seen the Sheldon store, has seen the expansion of, T-Mobile's retail space in these places. I don't know what AT&T is like there. I don't know what Verizon is like there, but I'm sure these people are happy to see competitors building retail space, building networks, and creating, competent, network along with the retail operations. So this is good. It's nice to see them joining the party. This is one of the weaknesses of T-Mobile in the past, was not having retail presence in a lot of the rural space, not having a good network. It looks like maybe they can actually kind of put some things together within these parts of the country. I'll open it up to the panel. Anyone who want to jump in and chime in?
I just have one question. Is it authorized retailer? Because if it's authorized retailer, T-Mobile don't want it. They're not doing corporate.
Well, they just opened, so why would they not want it?
That will be corporate.
No, I'm saying if it's authorized retailer, the company makes a strategy that, hey, this store isn't going to make as much money, so we're not going to own it. We're just going to give it to someone else to maintain. That's how AT&T, Verizon does it.
I was told that all these small market stores that they're opening are corporate.
Oh, they are. Okay.
They are, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
they hire all the locals and stuff like that to give them jobs, but
right,
they're corporate.
Yeah, so I was told that they seek out existing management from stores that are looking to be either like promoted or are willing to relocate, and then they kind of source the store employees after that. But I actually really like this move. I think this is probably one of the smartest things they've done, is expanding the retail footprint, kind of controlling the operation from the inside, and then, if it fails, it fails. If it succeeds, it'll do really well, and it's a good move.
I think that makes a lot of sense, but I still think that this is a very short-sighted move, and it's going kind of against the grain. You're seeing retail kind of shrink. The numbers, regardless of industry, don't suggest that it's a wise investment to invest in retail at this time. So while I certainly respect that T-Mobile is kind of trying to go against the grain right now, this doesn't seem like a move that's going to impact them positively going forward. Just because the retail space just isn't where the customer is doing business, and that's regardless of industry at this present time. Retail is contracting, not expanding. So I'm not sure this is a wise move for them long term, but I do see how in the short term they can tout this as, oh, we're investing in rural communities, so forth and so on. I understand the short term benefit, but over the long term, this seems like a pimple that's going to not necessarily this one store, but this strategic implementation seems like a pimple that they're going to have to atone for going forward. And it's not something that I think is very shrewd. It doesn't make a lot of business sense.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, Brian. because didn't they give like $10 for every customer to switch them to what's it like friendly so that they can buy it online and they get $10 or something so that they don't have to go to the store. They did something like that.
Exactly. So you're expanding stores, but you don't want people to come in and pay the bills. I mean, it just doesn't. It doesn't make a lot of business sense. It just seems like they're trying to be as against the grain as possible, and they're trying to grow at all costs, but they still want to try to chase profitability. And you unfortunately, especially in this particular economic climate, it's very challenging, if not impossible, to do both at the same time. So, more power to them. Good luck. Maybe they got some people who are smarter than me, and that's fine. There's plenty of people out there smarter than me, but it just doesn't make a lot of business sense to do what they're doing at this particular time. I don't see how they benefit from this at scale long term.
You know what the store is going to say for storefront? It's going to say, "We'll help you pay your bill. It'll be $5."
Yep. I mean, I don't know very many customers, just traditional consumers, who are staying with carriers because they opened up a store. They just aren't, man. They're not. Consumers are not going into the stores to conduct business nearly as much as they did, I'll say, 5 years ago. The primary method of operations as far as interfacing with whoever people do business with is online. It's over the phone, or it's over their own mobile device, or it's over their computer, or whatever the case may be. That's how they're doing business now. So I don't see what they're getting. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, the thing about these areas that they're putting these stores in, they historically had zero brand presence. So having, at least at what I've seen driving through rural areas, they're putting up the traditional billboards, the advertising, and then having a storefront for people to go to where you probably have single-digit percentage market share is actually not a poor decision. I just don't know if it's viable long term.
Yeah, that's why I said what I said. Like short term, I think this makes a lot of sense. Long term, this seems like I'm going to close your store in 7 years type thing, if it makes it that far. And that's fine. There are some short term investments that businesses do make. It makes sense. I get it. But if it's me, I'm trying to find ways to be as profitable as I can so that I can spend on my network, which is going to be the real reason people go to T-Mobile and stay, not because of store presence. But it's just my opinion. I'm just a guy. I don't know anything. I'm just a guy. But I do know people will leave if they have a negative network experience. It won't be because of the store, the reason why they'll stay, unless it's a really, really unique situation. And even then, oftentimes those are one-offs. But if they have network issues all the time, that's what will get them to leave. So if I'm a T-Mobile and I don't have a fiber network that I own, I'm trying to get money together to get that under my belt so that I don't have to keep leasing circuits. For example, not opening a bunch of stores that I'm going to close in 7 years. Does that make sense? Even if you don't agree, does it at least make sense?
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's probably going to be more stores that get opened, and they'll see how long they can operate them. I don't know. Typically, these leases are 3 years, right? 3 to 5 years, I would say, most of them. If things don't work out after 3, they could look at a reloco. They could look at a close. And who knows? Maybe just the fact that maybe people like the service they take to the home internet, they deepen the customer relationship, and the store gets a lot of traffic, and people like to go there. Maybe they pick up the Tuesday onesie and the Thursday thong or whatever, the T-Mobile stuff that they give out for free. Maybe that stuff, brings traffic in, and they buy accessories or, whatever else they're doing these days. I don't know.
We'll see. Like I said,
I know you'll be there, B. You'll be there to pick up your free, T-Mobile Tuesday gear.
I will not. I'm not picking up anything from that location or from any T-Mobile location because I don't do that. You guys know me.
I know you'll wear like a dark pair of shades, bro, and you'll go there and be like, "Yo, man, don't let nobody see me. Just let me get the checkerboard, the free checkerboard. Let me get that.
Let me get that Tumblr cup.
Not a chance, guys. Not a chance. Not a
Let
chance.
me get the what is it called? Let me get the koozie, man. Let me get the koozie for my first kid.
Not a chance. Not a chance. Not a chance.
All right, man. Let's see here. I got this last story for you guys here, and then it'll be a free for all. An executive at T-Mobile has retired. Chief Information Officer Brian King. I didn't even know that was a position. The CIO, Brian King. He is retiring. It says here that he has expressed his gratitude for the opportunity to work with all the people at T-Mobile. 25 plus years at the telco. He said, he's hanging up the Team Magenta shoes. He said so many brilliant people to thank, blah, 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 innovation, delivery, blah, blah, blah. He became the CIO of T-Mobile following Cody Sanford's departure in March of 2021. I don't think he's leaving for anything negative. It just looks to me like a retirement here. Previous position was SVP and Chief Operating Officer of Technology. Was involved with the network, IT operations, emergency management responses. He was also a big part of the whole Sprint merger integration. That's pretty much it. So that's another executive kind of riding off into the sunset. Neville's going to be gone later on in the quarter, I think, at the end of the summer. Let's see. Anybody else retiring? They've had some retirements, and they've had some people elevated and stuff like that. So, but the main people at T-Mobile remain, right? It's the same. Eugene, John Saw got elevated. I know that. Callie Field's still the business person, and then what's his name, man? The freaking John Fryer guy. He's the consumer group guy. All right, so I don't know, man. Maybe it matters to some people you're tracking who's coming and going, but it seems more retirement. It doesn't sound like anything that's sour grapes or anything. Brian King, ladies and gentlemen.
Changing of the guard. I think there's a lot of people within the baby boomer generation that are starting to take their due, and much respect to them. Many of these guys have worked in their respective companies and worked in their industries for their entire careers, and all of the technology that we enjoy every day, we owe that to them collectively. So that's about as respectful as I'm going to be to anybody that works for T-Mobile. No, in all seriousness, seriously. Yeah, I mean, we owe a lot to those people. And I also would say this should be encouraging to those of us who are younger, the Gen X and the millennials or whatnot who are out there. Get your credentials up if you don't already have them, because there's the opportunity that's going to be coming in the next 12 to 18 months. It's already happening. So, get where you need to be and be ready to hit that apply button, because opportunities are going to be opening up. There's a changing of the guard, like I said, and there'll be opportunity for our generation to now take that lead and begin to propel these companies forward. So definitely an exciting time.
All right, good stuff. The floor is open. Brandon, you weren't here when we talked about Dish, man, but Charlie's making life difficult on executives, and they're coming and going, dog. It's a revolving door. People are leaving the company. Things don't look good at Dish. We were talking a little bit earlier. Is there anything you wanted to expand upon? Oh, damn, we got Brandon on mute.
Charlie is, I'm sure he's doing the best that he can. He's got a pretty good reputation for making things happen in business. So I don't think this is a situation, anything other than it's hard to compete in telco when you don't have the assets. It really, really is. It's not a smoke and mirrors type of thing that only lasts for so long. Eventually, you got to have fiber. You got to have towers. You got to have people who understand parameters, who understand how to build and maintain networks. And that's just that, man. This is a very cut and dry industry that we talk about, that we love to discuss. But it really is the basic blocking and tackling. You either have the revenue, you either have the assets, or you don't. And it's very unforgiving. The customer is very unforgiving. So this is very unfortunate as far as Dish is concerned. It's not fair at all, but business oftentimes isn't. So this is where we are.
I hope AT&T buys them out.
I hope they just go out of business, and that their assets are sold like every other business is that goes out of business, and the assets go to the highest bidder. Instead of this whole merger and acquisition thing, perhaps we just need to let things happen organically this time, and let people bid and see what happens.
All right, breaking news story. Oh, damn. Breaking news this week. The state of Washington alleges Bellevue's T-Mobile is uncooperative in data security probe. Oh, lordy.
Imagine that.
Oh, no. T-Mobile is not fully cooperating with an investigation into its data security practices, according to Washington State Attorney General's office. The Bellevue-based wireless carrier failed to respond to numerous requests, dating all the way back to a data breach in August of 2021. It says here that in that exposed incident, customers' personal information, including names, social security numbers of 80 million U.S. residents, T-Mobile settled with members in a class action lawsuit valued at $350 million. T-Mobile suffered 2 more data breaches, one of which compromised the data of 37 million U.S. customers. And it says here that according to documents, they refused to turn over multiple categories of documentation. The statement from the Attorney General states, throughout this investigation, T-Mobile has either provided insufficient responses or refused to respond outright to the state's civil investigative demands, all while continuing to suffer repeated data breaches. Folks, these state attorneys general are on T-Mobile's ass. It says we're continuing to review this filing. That's the T-Mobile's response. T-Mobile's probably going to have to comply, because once the Attorney General gets a hold of these types of things, that means you're in pretty deep. Why does T-Mobile do this kind of stuff?
Because they have something to hide.
Why do they shoot themselves in the foot? Why don't they play by the rules?
Never had to before.
The FCC,
when did they ever play by the rules?
The FCC dictates there's a rule about outages where they have to disclose, like, for the sake of like E911 and emergency responses. Like, they failed to do that too, and the FCC fined them millions of dollars for that. Why do they do these types of things? Like, this is their own stomping grounds. Bellevue, Washington is where their headquarters are, and they're getting sued by their state attorney general. What the hell are they doing?
Charging $90.
This, EM, do you think this proves the negligence, incompetence, and probably a bunch of tomfoolery going on behind closed doors with respect to those breaches?
It's just added to the laundry list of all the other things that they've done. I mean, the T-Mobile's not exactly the company that's known for following the rules with any government entity, and it's all going to come to a head eventually, and we need to be cognizant of that. You have carriers like the other two, and even wireline ISPs that all play by the rules, or at least to the best of their ability. There's only one that consistently and negligently does not follow industry standards. So that's all I got.
T-Mobile, when the rules don't apply to them, they start crying, right? So it's all they do is whine if they don't get their way, or if something bad happens to them. God forbid, they're like the scapegoat, right? So I hope to get hacked 100 times by the end of this year. I don't know. Something's got to give, right? They're just you can't they can't take this seriously. It's like they don't, and it's just like it's horrible. It's just like, well, okay, your data is breached. It's just the carrier is turning into like Equifax or something. It's horrible. So they need to do something about it.
Well, what we've noticed, what we've seen, right? And by the way, to preface this, I hate corporations and carriers, and I hate the cutthroat nature of the business. That's what they do. That they don't.
Right.
They walk all over people to get whatever they want, right? So we're gonna just put that out there. But I will tell you guys that just watching the way that T-Mobile has been moving under Mike Seaver, and this, John Ledger was probably no different behind closed doors, but they literally don't give a damn about people, and they will compromise anyone's data. See, that's the thing. T-Mobile doesn't get hacked. T-Mobile customers get hacked. See, T-Mobile, they're not knocking on Eugene's doors and getting his data, right? They're getting the consumer data, right? This harms T-Mobile customers. This doesn't harm T-Mobile.
Right.
All they have to do is disclose is that there was a breach, and that's all that's expected of them. They don't have to protect. They don't have to do anything. And they clearly haven't shown the propensity to improve. They said that they've been spending millions of dollars on protections. Well, that doesn't hold water when you get hacked 3 more times since you announced that. So I think the more frustrating part here is the company acts like the big bad wolf at earnings conferences, and then when the time is right, they'll cry, sad sob stories, little old me, little old competitor, scrappy, we're just trying to compete with the big dogs and all this. It's whatever fits the narrative. That's the most frustrating part is they will put on a show, they will sell wolf tickets. They always sell wolf tickets. And it's just annoying at this point, and then stuff like this shows that they're hiding stuff. They're being probed by their home state attorney general. And the best thing they could do is just deflect. I don't know about you guys, but as a man who stands 10 toes down, I hate deflection. I'm all about accountability. You know what I'm saying? They should be accountable for the actions or inactions in these breaches and these security losses.
T-Mobile doesn't know the meaning of that word.
It's frustrating, man. This impacts customers. Go ahead.
This is why T-Mobile. If you go run it and see a background, bro, I bet you will not find Seaver, Leger, anybody that has T-Mobile as their primary carrier. They all have AT&T or Verizon, bro. Even mmWave has Verizon. Come on, man. Get out of here with that, bro. It has Verizon and AT&T both.
Look, there's a lot to applaud about T-Mobile. Scrappy, they were always so competitive. They want to give customers value, blah, blah, blah. The list is long, how they've improved their company with respect to the financials, with respect to the growth. All those things are real. But they still continue to do things like this, and it doesn't change. It's been 3 years of this. When was the first hack, in 2020 or 19? I don't know. It might go back even further,
Bro,
but it feels very frequent. They're not even trying, dog.
It goes back to 2015, bro. Plus.
Somebody was joking on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. They said, "Aren't we due for that quarterly T-Mobile hack?" They basically said it's been 3 months. When we get in the next hack?
Probably by next quarter.
Anything else, guys? Anything else you want to mention?
They got a nerve to charge $90 to people. My God. $90, man.
They still line of service for $90. Yep.
$90 and they make profit.
Still working on getting a US Cellular line. Trying to find one.
Ugh, don't do that.
Did you see they released an article saying that they're turning up DoD and C-band in a bunch of markets.
Yeah, it's probably gonna run like crap.
Who's doing DoD and C-band?
US Cellular.
Ah, yeah. US Cellular finally joining the 5G mid-band situation.
I was actually stuck in traffic on my way home, and there was a tower crew upgrading one of the sites. They put the DoD and C-band up. So
did you get a look at some of the gear? Did you see the vendor?
Yeah, they use Ericsson primarily. So in certain markets they're using Nokia, but here they've got the Ericsson 6449s for their mid-band. They do cbrs, and then they actually put millimeter wave on macros using the same Ericsson millimeter wave stuff that AT&T uses. So very exciting.
How much hardware is going up? Is it separate antennas and radios?
Yep. Yeah. It basically, if you have seen like an AT&T setup, they look almost identical, except for some reason US Cellular likes to leave their CDMA stuff still broadcasting. So they
You
got a
gotta make sure you
lot of
got that
gear.
2.5 megahertz of low band, get that calling across, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because who knows if you'll actually have LTE to carry your call with them. So
They didn't do voice over LTE yet?
dude, up until like 2018, there were still areas where they didn't have VoLTE. It took them a long time.
Oh, damn.
But
yeah, it looks like they're according to MS, yeah, you got markets. Yep, that's true. I have been following that story. You know, we're watching US Cellular a little bit. We like to hear the good news that they're deploying and upgrading. I know that there's some people that follow me on Twitter that are very frustrated with US Cellular. They like to see them upgrade their towers a little bit faster, but
U.S. Cellular is very lenient on their roaming. That's all I'm gonna say.
have you been
lenient.
crushing it, Los?
Crushing it. I've been destroying it.
How many gigs, Los? How many gigs?
200 plus a month.
Roaming?
And I don't get slowed down. Not once. I don't even get the message on the phone.
Who do you roam on, Verizon?
Verizon or AT&T, I have manual network select. I can choose.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Can you roam on Visible though?
Come on, bro.
Come on, bro. Listen, you can roam on Mobile X, dude. I'm sure Adderton's got it faded.
Oh, come on, man.
Oh shit! I had to unmute for that one. He
Hey,
said,
you
"Can
know,
I roam on Visible?" Come on.
you can roam on Dish too, dog.
I know they need to work something out.
Yeah.
Literally.
What up, Austin? What's going on, bro? You missed like 95% of the show.
I was busy, unfortunately. What's up, everyone?
Listen, you were probably putting icing on the cupcakes, man, and sprinkles and everything. And
I don't work at a bakery. Come on, man.
That's right, bro. You were probably busy making some tiramisu, you know?
Nah.
No. Yeah, you missed all the fun and all the festivities. Things got a little bit amped up when a shake came through, you know.
When does the next T-Mobile data breach happen?
It's quarterly, so pretty soon. Pretty soon. But probably one has already happened, they just haven't disclosed it, you know. They like to tell us
True.
They like to tell us weeks after it happens.
Oh, come on, man.
Or close to the earning of the closing of the call, you know?
No, I was watching the stream. I saw when a shake came in. I saw it get heated.
Yeah, he came amped up and you know, he had his thing about Rutgers, you know. He was very upset about the whole Rutgers networking situation for Verizon. Yeah. Oh, snap.
Yeah.
What Weasel chimed in. T-Mobile Tuesday's new perk. Quarterly breaches at no cost to you.
Oh, come on, man.
Come on, man.
they should just add it as a plan feature at this point.
You can go into the app and you could just toggle it on if you like. Get your data hacked. Yo, Los, I just saw that picture on Twitter, dog. What are you doing, man?
I don't know what you're talking about, dude.
What you talking about, dog? I seen that photo, dog.
I don't know what you're talking about, dude.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. Let's see if I can get that.
In other news, I had to get a battery replaced. Thank you, T-Mobile.
No, this is what I wanted. I want this right here, man. Why is it doing this to me? Some bull. Here we go. Can I switch this? All right, Los, show it off, dog. All right, Los, what is that?
What do you think that is?
Looks like the Motorola Razr Plus.
Yeah, Motorola Razr.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, nice.
Are you
cool.
fancy, huh?
And I'm hearing that there's one on the way for you too.
What?
Oh shit.
I don't know. That's what I heard, bro. That's what the plug told me.
Oh.
Oh, well.
How's the RF on that, Lowe's?
Very good. Very good.
Very nice.
Very
So
good.
I watched Mr. Mobile's review of it, and he literally mentioned that about the cellular. He said it's really good. He said it's better than the Samsung Galaxy Flip.
Bro,
Oh,
you
sure.
can't even see sunlight through it.
Nice.
Are you talking about like the design with the hinge and
The
stuff?
the hinge, yeah. Look right there, the sun is shining at it. Nothing.
Yeah, somebody's watching you do that, Los, and like, what the hell is he doing? Trying to get a signal.
No.
Yeah, just say I'm trying to get a signal. There you go. That works.
It works out, bro. It works out.
Damn. Yo, Los, does it have a good sound when you close it, like you used to back in the day with the old Razor?
Let's see. Certified. Certified.
Nice.
Los
You
about to
get
be
that.
hanging up on everybody, even me. You know?
That's awesome.
Yo, Lavendi's in the house. He said he's asking if Austin told us how it is having T-Mobile as his primary carrier on his iPhone. Is he worried about hacks?
Oh,
Sure.
If that's the case, then why not just switch, man?
T-Mobile's not the primary. I've been saying this all along, and do I need to get the receipts out?
I believe you. It looks like Lavendi's gonna put it on thick tonight. That's all.
I'll send him a screenshot. The
Yeah.
primary is Verizon right now. The primary always will be Verizon.
All right,
T-Mobile's just a
Wes.
secondary.
Wes, listen, bro. Listen, I gotta address this. No phone is sexy. It can be well designed, right? It could be well engineered. Okay, you want to say it's good looking, fine, because an ugly phone is possible too. But there's no such thing as a sexy phone. Come on, man. We got to draw the line somewhere. You know. Appreciate you, Southwest Ohio, for chiming in. He said, best phone of 2023 right here. You agree, Los, so far? You've been using it for a minute?
bro. Let's put it this way. I've had it for the last 2 weeks, bro. Yeah,
What?
it's good. Oh,
Which one? Which model?
Dish.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Hug it up.
Just can't. Couldn't talk about it.
No. And now you want to talk about it, Doug, or you're not trying to spill the beans?
I couldn't talk about it till the release date.
All right, so now you got this other one. All right, well, how's the build, bro? How's the build? Feel sturdy? Feel tough? Feel strong?
Bro, it's good.
I hear
feels
Wes
good.
talking all that shit
has-
about pretty phones, but he's got T-Mobile as his primary.
So I had. So the crazy thing is, it has frosted glass in the back, just like it feels just like the iPhone frosted glass.
It has wireless charging, right?
I don't know. It should.
I think it does. See, the
Yeah.
only thing I'm worried about is the batteries with these flip phones, man. Got to get through a day, dog,
It does.
without having to put it on low battery mode.
It does.
It's got to last a day.
It does, bro. It does. And the hinge is it's how do you call it? It's not plastic like the Samsung.
Yeah, I mean, there's some design sacrifices that have to be made. Test the camera for me, still photography. Let me know how the video is. You know, because I'm wondering, is this thing, could it possibly be part of a creator's toolbox? Like, could it replace my Pixel 7 Pro for productions?
Oh man.
I think so.
Oh, damn. How's the speakers? You know, because the
Great.
Pixel 7 Pro is a nice phone, man. Good RF, right? Really nice display. Good battery life. You know, it's got to do those things, man.
Let's see here. Tell you right now, this speaker, bro, should be good. So far, it's been good to me. So, what's there?
You gonna make any content?
Oh, we'll see.
Yeah, you're gonna do like a first impressions video. Do some video footage, record it on the device.
Yeah, I mean, we could record. We could make a video on the device and see what's up, right? Sounds
Yeah.
good to me, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Turn me up. Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay.
You.
Sounds good to me.
It's Freestyle Fridays, Los. I was about to go in, dog.
He was about to go in, bro.
Oh, I missed 95% of the stream, but I didn't miss for this. Oh.
Looks like Los didn't want me to spit the hot fire, man.
Well, I didn't know, bro. All right, I'll continue it.
Nope. Too late. You can't do that, bro. Once the flow stops, bro, it's over. Can't turn it back on like that, bro.
It's cooked.
They're like creative juices, bro. You know what I'm saying? You can't just disrupt the flow. You feel me?
Yeah, this one doesn't flow like water.
Jesus, bro. Come on, man.
Yo, Steven, thanks for the super chat. He said, "What do you think of the Google Pixel Fold phone?" I love it. I think it's a great piece of hardware. The display looks good. I don't mind the bezels. The camera, obviously, really, really good. The Pixel software, I love. You know how I feel about the OS experience. There's so much good about that phone, except the price. I literally can't afford that phone. I have to feed children and pay a mortgage and stuff. So I can't just chop 2 stacks on a phone, man.
Bro, just go cut a kidney out. You'll be good, bro.
Bro, I already gave up the left kidney to get my wife's iPhone. You know?
Well, I mean, you could chop some of the liver. You'll be all right.
Nah, dog, nah. I needs that. It's for the glycogen and such. Appreciate it, Steven. Yeah, great phone. I think lots of promise. Obviously, Gen 2 will be even better. I think that's probably going to have more takers. More people will buy that phone. Hopefully, the price comes down, as technology kind of improves and the cost of production bill of materials starts to dip a little bit. Who knows? Maybe they can get it down to $1,500. Trust me, people will buy that. At 1,800, 1,900, 2,000, it's a tough sell. I mean, how are the Samsung, foldables performing with respect to sales? The barrier to entry is clearly price, and it's just very expensive.
Sneed, I gotta bounce, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
You're the best, Zirkle. Take it easy, man.
You too, bro. Later.
All right.
The way Motorola priced this phone, they priced it correctly. They priced it the right way, bro. You can get it for, even at Best Buy, you can get it for $8.99, bro. Or you can go get it from the carriers for $5 at AT&T or free at T-Mobile on 24 term.
Big shout out to Tito. Just popped in the live chat. Maybe when those carrier stores are liquidating the San Francisco and Chicago stores, I'll be like, yo, you guys need that? And they'll give me one. They're closing up those stores.
Yeah, oh, snaps, bro. Come on, man.
I'll be like, yo, you guys get rid of anything? You guys looking for a donation? Write it off the taxes?
I ain't gonna do them like that, bro. Come on, man.
Hey, man. I'm asking for handouts, dog. We started GoFundMe. You feel me?
Sure, bro. I know. Sometimes it feels that way, bro.
Straight
Maybe
up.
I should start. Maybe I should.
Well,
GoFundMe to help me pay for.
Your problems aren't too bad if we're sitting here talking about foldables and stuff. It's not like we're sitting here talking about not being able to pay for groceries,
Oh, gee.
Trust me, if I was in a situation where it was that bad, I wouldn't be on this live stream, dog.
Now, I don't normally say this all the time, but y'all talking about foldables. I had to throw around 7 racks like it was no one's business.
I feel you, bro.
7 racks?
Bro,
yes.
So remember the other day, bro? The live stream, bro? I finally saw the numbers, bro. And so far it's only made $3. 17K views, $3, bro.
$3? Bro, that was a 9-hour live stream.
And retention rate was 4 hours and 52 minutes. Average retention rate.
Wow. So people basically watched the whole thing. Damn.
But only $3 in some sense.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right?
Yeah, that's one thing I
That's
don't
why.
understand, bro. I don't understand the YouTube algorithm. I don't understand the payments, the advertisement revenues. I don't get it. I know the basic stuff, like when you go to analytics and you see the CPM and the click-through rate and all that stuff. Like, I get that, but I don't get the algorithm. I don't get how you get your videos in the recommended, that sort of thing. Like, here's something I've noticed recently on the YouTube platform. I've noticed that comments are way down. People aren't engaging with the content. The number of likes are down. The number of views are down, which I get all of that. Like, views being down, it's the summer. People are probably out doing more stuff, consuming less content. But, like, it just feels like the whole YouTube algorithm situation, like, if people are obviously viewing, but it feels like it's hard to come by to get into people's recommended feeds. And this is why always the call to action is to subscribe and then turn on the notification bell so you get notified whenever someone drops content.
Or they can share it. Which would be
Well,
awesome.
YouTube's having a massive problem with ad blockers.
Is that what's going on?
Yeah, that also can not help things because YouTube has been testing to block ads.
YouTube wants to block ads?
Or not block ads, my bad. YouTube wants to have it to where people can't block ads no more. They're not paying for premium.
Okay.
I have a cat
What have people
meowing.
been using? There was like a software or something, a trick.
Oh, it could be anything. Any ad blockers that block Google's ad servers. Because when an
like
ad
YouTube
plays,
bans
they're
stuff
on a
like
whole
that.
dedicated. They're on a whole different server.
Mm.
It's Google ads.google.com.
I don't really care, bro. If somebody's gonna go out of their way to try to block ads, then more power to them. What are you gonna do? To me, honestly, I always appreciate the support of the dedication from the SMT, the nation itself. So, you got people that buy me a coffee and use the affiliations and partner links and stuff, like all that's the stuff that helps. And I gotta say something, bro. Like, somebody left a comment on a recent video, and I didn't like reply or respond, but it was just like they were like complaining that there was like a Mint Mobile shout out at the beginning of the video. Like, I don't think these people understand. When the Mint Mobile partnership does well, like, that puts food on my family's table. Like, why don't people understand these things?
Because
Clearly, YouTube monetization isn't good enough to sustain all it takes to run this channel. Los, what I spend on this channel because you do the same things I do, like with respect to spending to creating content, the devices, the plans, right? The lines, the access, like all these things that we review and test, and the time. Like, nobody wants to discuss the time dedication that it takes to just do anything, right? Like, think about it. Anything worth a damn in your life that you're going to create, if you do it fast, it comes out like crap. And if you dedicate time, you get quality production out of it, right? So I don't understand why people get disgruntled and angry because there's a Mint Mobile placement for a service that could save them money. Like, we're actually really proud of what we have with Mint. That's a good company. That offers a fairly priced product on a good promotion. And if you use our link, you support us. Like, why? How is that a problem?
I don't know how that's a problem, bro. But
But they'll sit there and they'll watch like all these other million person subscription videos, and you don't see them belly aching and complaining. Why are they coming to mine and complaining on my stuff?
I don't know, bro. I mean,
because you got a partnership, you're succeeding.
It's just that they don't know how much this stuff costs me. You know how much I have in equipment, bro.
More than me, way more than me. Carlos doubles alone. what I spend on my channel, Carlos doubles.
Bro, like in cameras alone, just in cameras, all these bonders for live stream connections, the live view, the the A6600, the tripod for it, dude, that alone is almost $10,000. And people don't understand, bro. Like it's we try to give the best production we can. It's easy to live stream with a phone.
Carlos, you
can do it with a phone.
that spray cleaner? Remember that?
Yeah, dude, that shit was
That's
awesome.
not for me. That money is generated and given to donations, bro. That's not even my money. I don't get any of it. That's out of the kindness of my heart to help someone else.
I know.
And people sit there complain about stuff they don't even know what they're saying, bro.
Nope.
Yeah, that's why, bro. If it wasn't for the community and me enjoying doing it, bro, honestly, I would have just been done quick this shit. Be just keeping it 100, bro. Because the money I invest, bro, and what I get in return barely pays 2 phone lines. Barely pays 2 phone lines. That should tell you how much I get.
Yeah, the ad stuff it's difficult, bro. It's difficult. I mean, I'm happy making content. This is a labor of love for me. I don't complain about it. It's all good. But if the ends don't meet, right, and the math doesn't work, then you're coming out of pocket.
I do. I come out of guap out of pocket, dude. A guap.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, bro. And I get why people, treat YouTube as a hobby. And the guys were talking about it earlier today, hobby versus business. I mean, if it's going to be a business, you got to generate some serious revenue, man.
Yep. I'll just put in a fast motion video of my cat walking back and forth, and there'll make some money.
You got any video footage of your cat jet skiing with a squirrel?
Oh,
I know what
no.
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, bro. They always do that kind of stuff, bro.
He's purring away over here. He's happy. He's like,
You know,
monetization, I don't care about it.
I look at it like this, bro. The community is great, anyways, bro. So that's what's important.
The community's fantastic, man. Like-minded people, sharing similar hobbies and stuff like that. Can't be beat.
You want to say hi to Sneed's live stream?
Meow. Oh, there's that purr. Bro, he sounds like freaking, what's his name? Sounds like Chewbacca, bro.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's I don't understand, bro. I was just, maybe I'm kind of venting a little bit. I just want people to understand, the partnerships and stuff is, if you use those partner links, it helps the channel.
I watched Talos of Tech's video about monetization and ad blocking and people being the way that they are, and what he said was perfect. He said that people, if you're going, I know I'm gonna ruffle feathers, I know I'm gonna, piss people off and whatever, but I get if you are struggling to make ends meet, that's why there's ads on this platform, because YouTube literally blows through so much money, Google does, putting terabytes upon terabytes of footage up on YouTube. You can upload videos in 8K, 60 FPS, HDR, which are very high codecs, and the creator's not paying to upload this stuff. The actual user watches an ad if they're not paying for YouTube Premium, and the creator gets a portion of that ad, and then YouTube also makes money off of that for the fact of the, making money to support these servers.
Bro, I don't even mind paying the YouTube Premium, bro. And at the same time, bro, you can share it with people, which is cool.
Exactly. That's what Talos of Tech said at the end.
Hey man, I got it through my Los Mobile subscription. I don't know if you know that, dog.
Oh shit, I do too.
The what? I didn't even hear it.
The Los Mobile subscription.
We're gonna get it through the Los Mobile subscription. You know.
Oh shit! It was. Oh, the damn YouTube Premium. Jesus, bro. Come on, man. What is this?
It's perks, bro. You gotta get more partnerships, Los. You gotta do something with Netflix.
Do the YouTube. We just do the YouTube Premium.
I'll figure something out, bro. But right now,
that would
bro,
be cool though. Like if we had the Mint Mobile thing going on, and then I was able to get some kind of a partnership with a company who is an MVNO of Verizon, and then maybe one for AT&T, and then we got the trifecta. Even one with Dish would be sweet. That would be really cool to get a Boost Infinite partnership, man. That would be sweet.
Come here. What you
so
doing?
I know at the end, bro, everybody was, and I understand. I can't talk too much, but at the end of the day, what's the best way to put this? At least we were able to accomplish something that has never been done at such a rapid pace.
That's facts, bro.
Yep.
Yeah, that's facts. Salute. Big salute for that.
This network has only been done in one other place, and that's in Japan. That's it. There's only one. This is number 2. Worldwide. So to literally come from ashes and dust to this, it's it's all right, bro. I mean, it's working.
Right.
A lot of people that are actually on it enjoy the access. I know I love the access, bro. This is the only access that can live stream when all the other networks take a dump. All 3 took a dump the other day on me, bro.
What? Yeah, you were in a Google Meet and it booted you out.
Bro, if it wasn't for Dish, I wouldn't have been able to do nothing.
Yeah, they were
4 hours.
nobody's on the network. I mean, you're basically on your own lanes, man.
The site I was on that day had 40% traffic. Let's put it that way.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, there's not much traffic here, dog. Like I test the sites when I'm close. I'm getting 250 down, 40 up, 35 up.
Well, here what's been happening, bro, it's a lot of places, a lot of the Boost stores, when you go upgrade, they're converting you to a Rainbow Sim.
So they're getting people on the network. That's good.
Mm-hmm. They're thinking about roaming, on the partners basically.
Well, that's
and then
good.
you'll just roam when you're in an area that there's no native.
In my opinion, this is just my personal experience. I think Dish Native, when you got the proper RF kind of situation, I think it's pretty good. The experience is just as good as AT&T.
What was it? In Alachua County, Florida, which is near me. Dish is doing 490 down by almost 60 up.
Wow.
Well, because why? What's the reason why? Because there's more traffic on that tower site. Once it hits over 50% capacity, the backhaul bumps up, and then once it hits 60, it'll bump up again. It'll just keep bumping it up until it hits 10 gig. And then once the load is gone, it goes back down to the baseline.
It's an interesting way to share the bandwidth, I guess.
It works because why would you want to pay a backhaul provider for the full 10 gigs at all times when you are not going to need it all the time?
Is that an industry standard, or is that something new and different that Dish has going on?
New and different.
Are they doing that through Mavenir? Or are they doing that through some kind of software-defined? Yeah?
Mavenir, bro. Yeah, I love it.
So the software-defined nature of the ORAN network is really cool, bro. It's very, very interesting.
That's what Sprint was doing too. Why do you think Sprint was using Mavenir? Mavenir is a very open source program, piece of software.
Yeah, but I never really considered Sprint to be cutting edge on much, bro.
No, they were late to the party, bro. But you know what?
My work site was still on 3G until 2018.
Jesus.
Yeah, and they didn't even have voice over LTE, bro. I used to get bumped down CDMA and stuff when I'd be on a call.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy, bro? The 3 cities I tested with that had their 5G. So I tested Dallas, Fort Worth, Phoenix, and LA, and they were the best experience. It's the best 5G experience I ever had. And even till today, I cannot find that experience with the big 3. And that's keeping it real. The big 3 don't got nothing on that 2019, 2020 5G that's printed. They still don't.
Well, we'll see what Verizon's 5G ultra wideband is when it's done, and when AT&T's done with its 5G plus, and we kind of have an idea of what T-Mobile's got going on with N41 at this point, so we kind of know, but we'll see.
It's neat. It just showed that they were in limited cities, but in those limited cities, they blasted them so hard that, bro, you didn't have this dual connectivity. You didn't have none of that stuff. Right when they lit it up, bro, every site had it. Every single site. In that market,
well, the one thing
was,
that they understood,
amazing.
I think, at the time was, massive MIMO. That was the name of the game.
And they did it well. Because I would literally be going under the tunnels and through LA, and I was still connected, getting 200-300 down, while on Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile, it drops down to LTE.
Yeah, man. Zero Cool would be proud, bro. Zero Cool would be proud.
So that tells, not even T-Mobile with the N41 right now, bro. Not even doing it like that. It'll drop down to N71 in that same route. But Sprint was getting N41, 60 megahertz. Of course, they're getting good bandwidth.
Well, we'd love to take a trip down memory lane when Sprint was worth it, Amlos, but it's been a while, man. It's been a few years. They're gone, dog.
Oh, no, they're gone.
And your Sprint drive, man, I know you're reminiscent today.
I know, man. I love that.
Anyways, I'm excited about that Razor, man. I'm excited to check it out. It's got me amped up. You guys, maybe we'll get some coverage going. Maybe Carlos will get some coverage going, and I'll share his content with you guys on the community tab. I'll share it on Twitter if he decides to make any content. And be on the lookout for that. Appreciate it, Los. Thanks for coming through. EM, Austin, thanks for hanging out, guys. Zero
You're
Cool
more than
was here
welcome.
earlier. Ashay, thank you, guys. And for the good of the order, please do like our videos, give them a thumbs up. Please do share them, help them get happy in the algorithm. Drop me a comment, #2LiveCrew, #ReplayCrew, any of your favorite hashtags. Gladly accept those as comments. And if you have anything that you want to, state, or especially for the replay crew, questions, comments, or concerns. But for now, we out this piece. Peace.
Peace.